Welcome to another thrilling episode of Solid State Cinema. It's Terry here in D-Lab, down in the altered state of D-Lab. Got my crackers, got my wet wine, and what we're going to do today is do a comparison between the SA-1000 and the SA-1000A, both produced by Realistic back in the mid-70s. There's some myth busting that needs to happen here, and I'm just a guy to do it. Here we go. Alright, so let's do a little comparison between the SA-1000 and the 1000A and see what the difference is. Well, got a little issue though. I'm out of wine. Excellent. Well, first off, we'll take a look at the front panels of these two amps. So the first one here is the SA-1000, and this is what I use up in my main shop to listen to some classic music while I'm working on things, and I also use it as a test amp. So let's pan in here and take a look at the controls. See, you got a selector switch, your bass, mid, treble, balance, etc. And the old push button Aramis is there, right? Now if we go over here, let's take a look at the SA-1000A, and you'll see that they actually look identical. Same control lineup, same buttons, same finish, pretty much same everything. So there's a lot of guys that have been talking about these amplifiers on different forums, and they're thinking that the only difference between the two is the fact that one is higher power than the other. So I flipped these guys around and I popped the tops on because that's where the nomenclature is for all the rear jacks and plugs, etc. So over here we have the SA-1000, alright? So you see the old spring-loaded speaker clips there. You see your different inputs for phonograph, tape monitor, etc. And over here you'll see that it has a selector switch for phono, either high or low, right? So mag or ceramic. Now let's pan over to the 1000A. You'll see once again it looks pretty much identical for all the inputs and outputs, but you'll see that that switch for the phonograph is not on this model. This one here just has the terminals and the ground now. The switch, for some reason, was removed. So that's the only difference right off the bat on the back panel that I see between the two units. So now, for the fun part, let's take a look under the hood. Alright, so let's start with the SA-1000. Now this amplifier I actually featured in a video about a month ago, and I showed recapping it. Showed all the old dried up caps. The amp was actually malfunctioning until I put in the new caps. The only one that I had not replaced at that time was the main filter cap, and now that's been installed. So here was the old original 70 volt 4700 microfarad cap. A big porpoise. I mean, this thing, when it sat on the board, would come all the way up to the top of the cabinet. If you take a look at some pictures on Google of the chassis, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now the new one, it's right here. This is what I replaced it with. It's actually an 80 volt cap at the same microfarad rating. However, as you can see, it's a lot smaller than this big monster. So it was a good upgrade. So now all the caps on the main driver and amplifier board have been replaced. But what I wanted to point out here is, as you see, there's only one filter cap. Okay, so this has, I think, about a 60 volt DC supply that feeds these final output transistors, and these guys are kind of wired in series. And then how they feed the speaker is they have these coupling caps. Okay, so the single-ended voltage to ground goes through each final, through the caps to the speakers. A very cool system. I have not seen an amp built like this since some of the early Dynacos, like the 120. So now let's take a look at the SA-1000A. So here is the SA-1000A. I actually purchased this amp because I wanted to show you guys the difference between the 1000 and the A model. And as you can see, it wasn't a simple, hey, let's add another switch, or, you know, let's put in a different light. This was a complete redesign. Alright, so this is a little bit higher power unit. I do not have the exact specifications, but if you look, you've got two filter caps. So this has your positive and negative power supplies that feed the final output transistors, right? That is completely different from the SA-1000 model, okay? So this one supposedly has a little bit more power. I still have not recapped it. This baby is in stock condition. I plan on using it down here in solid state cinema as my test amp. So the next thing we need to do is fire these guys up and see what they sound like, and you tell me which one you like best. Okay, now we're going to do a live sound demo on both of these units. I'm going to set them up exactly the same. We'll run all of our tone controls flat. We're going to go into auxiliary 1 using my Harman Kardon CD player. And I've got a set of little Polk audio speakers up here. Okay, so nothing too special. Very low power setup, but I want to capture the quality of the sound coming off of the two amps. I'm sure they're going to be very close to each other, but let's give it a run, and you guys can be the judge. You can key in on my comments and tell me what you think. So here we go. Now this is a generic band, so I don't get popped for copyright. Here we go. So that's the SA-1000. Let's flip over to the 1000A and see what it sounds like. Go about a minute and 15 seconds of each amp. So what do you think? So there you have it. The realistic SA-1000 myth has been busted the D-Lab Solid State Cinema. As you can see, that A didn't mean it just had like a little additional switch or something. It was a complete redesign. So why they kept that model number is beyond me. But I myself prefer the sound of the straight SA-1000. I think it has a little bit more of a tube-ish sound, whereas the 1000A with a little bit higher power and the positive negative type power supply to me is a little bit more punchy and a little more solid state sounding. So why is D-Lab doing these videos? Well, obviously for a little bit of entertainment, and also I enjoy working on this old stuff and presenting it to you. The other thing is, guys, is a lot of you have been pitching money at D-Lab, little donations here and there. I use that to buy this stuff to present to you, and then when I'm through, I put it on reverb.com, I off it, and I buy some more. That's what D-Lab's all about. We'll see ya.